The Learning Trust, a unique organisation. A 10-year contract in 2002 to improve education services in Hackney. The first private, not-for-profit company to take over a local authority's entire education function in the UK. The chair was Sir Mike Tomlinson and the chief executive was Alan Wood, CBE. From the beginning, the Trust set out to do things differently. Over the 10 years of its contract, the Learning Trust established a powerful identity that encompasses its values, beliefs and way of working. Communications and branding. It's been so successful, giving the Learning Trust a clear identity. It set a clear vision from the outset that all students in Hackney could do as well as students anywhere else. Hackney is now regarded as a borough with rapid and sustained achievement, best practice and innovation in education.
One of the reasons we'll know whether this has been a success or not is when we don't have people fighting to get their children to go to secondary school outside Hackney. We have people fighting to get their children to go to secondary school in Hackney.
The Learning Trust set about building capacity. The Trust's success in improving education is in large part attributable to the commitment, creativity and common purpose of its staff. The vision that every child, young person and adult learner in Hackney should achieve his or her potential was shared throughout the organisation.
The variety that the week can bring is actually quite interesting and something to look forward to.
The guy that said life's like a box of chocolates, work is like a box of chocolates. I work with such a variety of young people.
What really excites me about working for the Trust is actually working in school admissions because we are a frontline service and we deal with lots of parents.
It's really a vast job and it entails me doing lots of different things, but that's the beauty of it.
I work with a lot of different stakeholders, head teachers, cleaners, through to a lot of colleagues within the Trust. And it's a variety and challenges that they present every single day that makes it worthwhile coming to work.
The working environment, the most, is quite a vibrant, multicultural working environment.
For me, coming from a private sector background and now working for a non-for-profit, I'd say it's the people that make me want to wake up each morning and come into the Trust.
The thing that has been at the bottom of our success is the people who work for the Trust. And one of the most important things about the people who work for the Trust is their willingness to take responsibility and their preparedness to show leadership.
In 2002, over half of Hackney's 11-year-olds sought schools in other boroughs. 1 in 7 schools had failed Ofsted inspections. Key Stage 2 test scores were the worst in the country, according to the government's league tables. 31% of Hackney students were gaining 5 or more good GCSEs, A* to C. But from the beginning, the Trust set out to do things differently, taking decisive action around school closures, acting swiftly to intervene and support schools, improve standards and increase the quality of teaching, taking responsibility for these decisions and innovating to meet the specific circumstances prevailing in Hackney. The Learning Trust Board has seen its role as removing obstacles from the path of Trust staff, head teachers and governors, trusting in their expertise and allowing them to focus on improving standards. It is this approach which has allowed education in Hackney to flourish. Our strategy with head teachers was to grow our own future leaders and develop a programme of support for aspiring heads and deputies. We also needed to build up school capacity for improvement. Over the last 10 years, the Learning Trust has improved support and challenge to schools in Hackney in order to improve outcomes for children and young people at all levels of education. The results have been striking, with a dramatic improvement in primary education and the transformation of secondary education, the strengthening and extension of early years provision, and the revitalising of adult education. Hackney has 53 primary schools. Key Stage 2 test scores are above national average. Hackney has 12 secondary schools, including 6 academies. In 2002, the proportion of pupils getting 5 good GCSEs was 31%. It's now 75%. In 2002, there were 3 sixth forms. In 2012, all schools, bar 2, will have sixth forms.
We've got to maintain and keep our high aspirations. We've got to believe that every person can achieve their full potential and put things in place to do that. We've got to have high expectations for all young people.
Increasingly, the emphasis has been on integrating service delivery in order to meet the varied and multiple needs of children and families, in particular those who are most vulnerable. Hackney now has 21 children's centres serving the community.
The 7 Sure Start local programmes have evolved into Hackney's 21 children's centres, which were developed to enable all children in Hackney to have opportunities to grow up in a stable environment that supports them in achieving their potential and making a positive contribution to our diverse society.
Well, teachers have been doing a marvellous job in raising school standards, and pupils have been getting better and better results year on year. What we can do as a council is to invest heavily, and we will be investing heavily over the next 4 years, several £100 million in fact, in the school infrastructure. So that's better schools for the pupils and the teachers, so creating schools that pupils want to go to and parents want their children to go to.
New school buildings. £240 million has been spent on Hackney's existing secondary schools and around £170 million on the new academies. £55 million has been spent on new primary schools or extensions to them and children's centres.
It's not just about new buildings, it's about delivering innovative education. We need to be looking at new ways of learning so that the new buildings can provide the education for the future.
Actually, it's all about the teacher. It's all about how they are, how they present, how they engage, how they talk with the children, how they positively reinforce everything that's going on. This is the missing bit of the puzzle for us in Hackney, especially around really aspiring to that, all teachers good and many outstanding, which is what we need to raise, to accelerate the learning for our pupils, given a wide range of circumstances that many bring to the classroom on a Monday morning.
The Tomlinson Centre is a purpose-built training centre which provides training courses and events for all professionals engaged in education.
Creativity is fundamental to the success of all schools in the 21st century, and it's really important that we recognise and encourage creative talent and skills in all our students in the borough.
The Hackney School Sports Championships is the biggest inclusive school sports competition in the UK.
They're playing together with children from mainstream schools, children with disabilities. It just kind of opens their eyes up, really.
Around 6,000 children in Hackney are learning to play an instrument, with around 1,800 of those taking lessons for the first time. The Schools at the Heart programme was recognised as one of the country's most innovative projects to capture the imagination of young people in the lead-up to the Games. All the little things, trailblazers, teaching awards and schools fair, create a sense of pride. Countdown is an annual celebration for secondary schools, recognising Hackney trailblazers who are breaking barriers and achieving against all odds, and an inspirational evening for their peers who are about to take their GCSEs. The Educators Awards. That recognises education excellence amongst education professionals in schools and in the community.
The great thing I learned about Hackney was its young people. They are absolutely fantastic. Hugely talented, hugely ambitious, hugely willing to learn. And with the help and support and input of every person who's associated with the schools in Hackney, that talent has been nurtured, developed, and young people have gone on to have all the opportunities that one would hope for them in their lives.
Those school days in Hackney, they're unforgettable days for me.
The skills that they've taught me is just to be confident and just to believe in what you do. Because if you believe in it and if you have hope and faith, then you can do whatever you want.
We entered the competition, which are over 4,000 groups had entered and we won by presenting our PowerPoint presentation that showed marketing skills, all the things that we had put forward to do the competition and work with our business. And we won. It was hard work, but we got there.
What makes Hackney different is definitely trying to beat the stereotype that everything's bad, all the children don't get proper education, they end up at £5 an hour jobs. And I think that it's really nice to prove them wrong by getting really good GCSEs, going on to something great, despite your background or where you've come or where you've learned.
So not only did I get an education, but it made me who I am today, and I really, really do believe that it made me tenacious. It made me so determined to try and be better than what people expect me to be. So it's like I'm going against the grain, but the thing is, I know that in Hackney there's so many gems.
I was a trailblazer in 2004, so that's like 8 years ago. Since being a Hackney trailblazer, I'm a trustee for the British Youth Council, which is the national youth council for the UK. And I'm also the Deputy Commonwealth Regional Representative, which means that I go to different heads of government meetings to represent the views of the young people in the UK. And I'm also working there at the moment with their Youth Affairs Division.
Against the historical background of low educational attainment in an economically deprived inner London borough, the Trust succeeded in raising attainment, improving standards and widening choices for the children and young people in Hackney. And did it all in just 10 short years. Now, that's really something to celebrate.